so weird when you see like a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that's people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a bitch, right? You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing.
3 years before Ellen DeGeneres' daytime TV empire began to fall apart, Dakota Johnson appeared on her show and had a moment that caught people off guard. Instead of laughing along or letting an awkward comment slide, Dakota calmly corrected Ellen on live television. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a funny disagreement. In November 2019, Dakota was on the Ellen DeGeneres show to promote the Peanut Butter Falcon. She had recently turned 30, and the interview started like many others with jokes, laughter, and celebrity chatter. Then Ellen brought up Dakota's birthday party. She claimed she had not been invited. Dakota quickly pushed back and made it clear that Ellen had in fact been invited. She did not become angry or make a huge scene. She simply stood by what had happened. That short exchange later gained much more attention. Around the same period, former employees began speaking publicly about their experiences working on Ellen's show. Their stories painted a very different picture from the cheerful and welcoming image viewers saw on television. The internet soon connected Dakota's awkward moment with the larger controversy surrounding Ellen. While that exchange was never proof of anything by itself, people continued looking back at it and wondering whether Dakota had noticed something others had missed.
Belated birthday. When was your birthday?
It was October 4th.
October 4th. You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited. Give me a bunch about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
Well, who doesn't want to be invited to a party?
Well, I didn't even know you liked me.
Why didn't I go?
I don't know.
Was it? Oh yeah, I had that thing.
The real point was not that Dakota remembered inviting Ellen. It was that she calmly stood by the truth, even with millions watching, making the situation far more uncomfortable.
You know, people have gotten in trouble for claiming not being invited to your parties. That was amazing, by the way. Like, amazing.
Dakota did not have to raise her voice or make a serious accusation. She simply questioned Ellen's version of the story and pointed to someone who could possibly confirm what really happened. For a few seconds, the usual roles seemed to switch. Instead of the guest trying to keep the host happy, Ellen was the one explaining herself. That small moment became much more interesting years later, after serious complaints about the workplace on Ellen's show became public. People started going back through old interviews, searching for moments that felt different when viewed with fresh eyes. Dakota's exchange quickly became one of the clips people talked about the most. Still, it is important not to confuse an awkward interview with proof of a secret plan. A strange moment on television does not automatically reveal what was happening behind closed doors. Ellen's public image had long been built around kindness, laughter, and treating people well. However, former employees later described a workplace they said could feel very different. Reports included claims of intimidation, racism, fear, and inappropriate behavior involving senior staff. Warner Brothers eventually investigated the workplace culture. Several producers left, and the show ended in 2022 after 19 seasons. Looking back, Dakota's exchange seemed more striking because it happened just before that wider controversy came to light.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm in the files for not going because Jeffrey Epstein was trying to meet with me.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad?
Yeah, but I would have never went anyway. It's like, it's not even a possibility that I would have went.
But
especially after I Googled him. I was like, what the f*** are you talking about? This was like 2017. One of my guests was trying to get me to meet him. I was like, are you high? Like, what the f*** are you talking about?
For what reason would you? What would be...
If I was a guy who was like sucking up to the rich and powerful, if I was really interested in hanging out with rich and powerful people.
You know, it's crazy. That's so crazy. But yeah, some people
get intoxicated by being in a circle of rich and powerful people, even if they're not, like, they don't even have any ambitions of being one of those people. They just want to be around them. They want to be around Nobel Prize winners, and because this guy what he was doing was very clever in that he was getting all of these very powerful and very respected people together.
Yeah.
And you would figure like, oh, it's
if that guy's there, that lady's
Clinton's
there.
here. This is fine. Clinton's here. How could this be bad?
Yeah.
Look, it's Steven Pinker. How could this be bad?
Yeah.
You know, he's a genius. Like, and so you would go, I would imagine, you would go to these, because there's people that went to these, like he had parties in New York, like he brought in celebrities and comedians. Didn't Louis Black get invited to one of those? I think he's talked about it. I know Chelsea Handler went to one of them. It's like he would bring all these people in, and he'd like to be around famous people and entertainers and a lot of intellectuals and professors. And Noam Chomsky was famously deeply involved. So it's like you would go, I guess, to these places, and that was how he would convince everybody that everything is going to be fine.
That is what makes this story so interesting. Someone can be admired by millions while people close to them describe a very different experience. Both sides can exist at the same time. After questions about Ellen's public image grew, viewers began watching old interviews differently. Those clips were not proof of anything, but they made people curious about what might have happened behind the scenes. The complaints went beyond one uncomfortable interview. Former employees shared stories about fear, pressure, racial comments, and difficult treatment. Then Grayson Chance, who became known after appearing on Ellen's show as a young performer, shared his own experience. What once looked like a supportive relationship later appeared much more complicated from his perspective.
Said that when he began touring, Ellen became overly controlling and domineering, and his whole week, month, or even year would change with just a single text from her. She would come in and look at a rack, yell at stylists, berate people in front of me, and say, "This is what you're wearing on the show." She was just degrading to people. One time, Ellen gave Grayson an advanced copy of Justin Bieber's Never Say Never documentary and told him to watch it. But given Grayson was working 14 to 16-hour days while touring, he was exhausted and didn't get around to it. When Ellen found out he hadn't watched it, she confronted his mother, saying, "What type of mother are you? Do you realize that I went out of my way to get this for you and he can't sit down and watch it? Disappointed isn't even remotely what I'm feeling right now." After Grayson's 2012 EP underperformed, he said Ellen completely removed herself from his career and wouldn't return his calls. Not long after, she dropped him from her label entirely. His final words were that he's never met someone more manipulative, more self-centered, and more blatantly opportunistic.
The bigger issue is power, not simply whether Ellen seemed kind. A young performer building a career cannot have the same influence as a billionaire TV star. When one person controls opportunities and connections, even small disagreements can feel serious. This is where Rob Schneider raises a broader Hollywood question about power.
You recently revealed you were sexually assaulted by a director.
Well,
why did you reveal it?
It was just something that
Female director?
No, it wasn't.
Male director.
No, I wouldn't have considered that. But there was, this stuff that came out recently about Harvey Weinstein. I mean, first of all, I think I never knew that he was he was a rapist.
Harvey, well, I didn't know that.
I know. I think it's very common knowledge that producers can be pigs and piggish, and that would be hitting on women or being, cheating on your wife. That's what I would consider being piggish, not the sexual. A guy who's now he's going to have to the next time he goes into Starbucks, he's going to have to call the police and register. I'm going to Starbucks to get some, So, but what happens is with actors, you're in a vulnerable situation. You're in a vulnerable place, you're trying to get a job, and there's people who, and it's not just actors, it's any men in positions of power who could use that power.
Rob later shared a story from his younger days involving a powerful director.
When I was
looking for a job,
when I was a young actor, I was asked to go to a hotel room of a director. It was a famous director, and I didn't think anything weird by it because it never happened to me. And so I went, and he was in his robe. I still didn't think it was weird. Well, he probably just came out of the shower or whatever. And then he asked me to do, to do the scene and then crawl on my belly around it, and it got to a weird place. And I just, when this stuff started coming out with Harvey Weinstein, I did remember that feeling of disgust and
did you reveal
humiliation. I didn't, because he's passed away, and I feel like if he can't defend himself, I feel weird about, saying his name. But he was a famous director who worked with, he did big movies. And so, but I remember that humiliation, and I didn't tell anybody. And it's interesting because when I've seen online, like Rob Schneider, I don't believe anyone would.
The interview does not prove anything about Ellen. Its real value is the bigger issue Rob described. Young performers often enter spaces controlled by far more powerful people. That imbalance has existed in Hollywood for years. Once people notice it, old celebrity interviews can feel very different.
I just love giving Ellen shit because it just never gets old. She just can't stand it. She has no sense of humor about herself. We had a fight one time that was a knockdown drag out, screaming on the phones, both of us screaming. And I think that's so funny. Like, picture Kathy Griffin and Ellen DeGeneres, split screen.
What are you
both
yelling
with
about?
our cell phones and assistants, screaming at each other.
Over what?
She thought Joan Rivers was not funny, but Joan was just mean. And I think Joan was not only not mean, but she was a genius, but also that Ellen kind of owed part of her career to the fact that Joan was the first woman to have a talk show, broke the glass ceiling for women. And
Kathy's remarks bring more context, while Margaret Cho later shared her own perspective.
Ellen
was like really weird and not nice to me for most of my career, and like because I opened for her in the 1980s.
Oh, you did?
When she was a headliner in comedy clubs, and not way before her big fame. And so then when I would do her talk show in the 2000s, she acted like we just met, and I'm like,
One of those types.
I'm like, what? Like, that's weird. Like,
right.
It's like we go way back.
None of these interviews by themselves prove that Ellen committed a crime, and it would be wrong to present them that way. A documentary should separate confirmed facts from allegations, rumors, and personal accounts. The bigger story is about a pattern that made many viewers question the gap between Ellen's public image and what some people said happened behind the scenes. For years, Ellen's brand was closely connected to kindness, humor, and making people feel welcome. Yet former employees described experiences that they said were very different. Some talked about fear and pressure. Others raised concerns about workplace treatment. Young performers also shared stories about difficult power dynamics, while comedians discussed tense relationships. Then there was Dakota Johnson, who simply refused to let a disputed claim go unchallenged during a live interview. From there, online discussions moved into much darker territory. Some people began connecting Ellen to stories involving Jeffrey Epstein and other powerful figures. This is where viewers need to be especially careful. Being photographed with someone, attending the same event, or appearing in the same social circle does not prove criminal involvement. A contact, friendship, or public appearance is not evidence of participating in a crime. That distinction matters because powerful people often meet through business, entertainment, politics, and social events. Joe Rogan has discussed how Epstein tried to build relationships with respected people, and how those connections could create an appearance of trust or legitimacy. But even that idea does not establish wrongdoing by everyone who crossed paths with him. The internet often focuses on old photographs, parties, friendships, and interviews, asking who knew whom and what they knew. Those are reasonable questions, but speculation cannot replace evidence. And eventually, the story returns to Dakota. Before the workplace controversy, before years of public debate, there was one uncomfortable television moment. Ellen told her version, Dakota gave hers, and Dakota refused to simply smile and move on.
Know that Ellen DeGeneres was mentioned in the Epstein files over 900 times. Yeah, she was. And have you seen recent videos of her lately? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it looks like something very heavy is weighing on Ellen DeGeneres. Was that the color of her hair the entire time? And what about this? Have you seen the stage to her talk show when she was still doing it? It looked eerily similar to this color collab, okay? Everything about it screams, I'm on Ellen DeGeneres' talk show set. But if you follow Ellen DeGeneres' past, her first wife, Anne Heche, died under very mysterious ways on a Hollywood set in a car where she literally burned to death and then disappeared.
Watch the exchange again, and there is no shouting, major accusation, or dramatic reveal. Dakota simply refused to go along with the story she believed was wrong. That quiet response may be why the clip still gets attention. Sometimes the strongest moments are not loud. They happen when someone calmly says, "No, that isn't what happened."
Several times. So I can't, like, you know, when I was like 23 and people were just like kind of reducing me to like kind of making slideshows of like my dating life and putting people in there that I'd sat next to at a party once and deciding that my songwriting was like a trick rather than a skill and a craft. Kind of, it's a way to take a woman who's doing her job and succeeding at doing her job and making things, and it's in a way it's figuring out how to completely minimize that skill by taking something that everyone, you know, in their darkest moments loves to do, which is to slut shame. And so now when I see this happening, I can see a headline about a young artist, about a young female artist, about like another breakup, and it sends me into
takes you back there to a degree.
It sends me into a real sad place because I don't want that to keep happening, and I don't think people understand how easy it is to infer that someone who's a female artist or a female in our industry is somehow doing something wrong by wanting love, wanting money, wanting success. Women are not allowed to want those.
Taylor's comments are not an accusation against Ellen. They point to a much bigger issue in the entertainment world. A celebrity's personal life can quickly become part of the show, turned into jokes, headlines, or viral moments. Sometimes the person involved may laugh along simply because pushing back can feel uncomfortable. That is the part viewers rarely get to see. The audience laughs, the celebrity smiles, the clip spreads online, and everyone moves on. Years later, however, someone may explain how that moment felt from their side. Suddenly, an old interview can look very different. So where does that leave this story? There are two separate sides. The first involves events that were publicly documented. Dakota Johnson challenged Ellen during a 2019 interview. Later, Ellen's show faced serious workplace allegations. Warner Brothers investigated the situation, senior producers left, and the program ended in 2022. Former employees and performers also shared negative experiences. The second side is the larger conspiracy theory involving Hollywood connections, Epstein-related discussions, celebrity friendships, and old footage. Some details are documented, others are allegations, while many claims online have little or no reliable support. The biggest mistake is connecting every interesting detail as if it proves the same story. At the same time, unanswered questions should not automatically be ignored. Dakota's moment does not prove a secret conspiracy, and Joe Rogan's comments do not prove criminal involvement by Ellen. What these stories really raise is a broader question about celebrity power, public images, and what audiences may never see behind the camera.